Hi everybody, welcome to this week's question and answer video. I'm David. This channel is Damar's Coaching. I'm answering questions from the last question and answer video. I do this every single Monday. Go down below, ask me a question, anything you want. Please just leave your location. Let us know where you are. Thank you very much. I also have a petition I started. If you haven't already signed it, I'd appreciate you considering doing so. It's Stop Narcissistic Online Bullying through change.org. The link will be down below in the comment section, in the description box. Please consider following it, signing it, sharing it. There's no other commitments to it, just that. Thank you very much. So let's get into the questions. The first one's from Rose, United Kingdom. Hello, Rose. You must have asked another one somewhere else because you say another question, or for me, just trying to make sense of someone that seems... He's bent on having no life. He seems to go in cycles. I thought it was due to changes in his day, but I'm not sure. He goes through a stage of being odd, extra distant, extra negative, and the odd jokes. When it feels as though he doesn't know what to do or how to be with me, so he jokes, inevitably on my expense. Silly kid, in quotes. And just odd, flicking, yeah, head as he walks by. This goes less than more. These things I look at him like he's almost like a child and autistic. I watched Coldplay on TV. Brilliant. He sat there with a non-expression. My daughter is on holiday, amazing holiday, and her partner proposed to her, but I tell him about it, any of it, and he downplays it. Had a ride in a F1 Ferrari. He said it's just a tourist thing. Well, that's no fun, Rose, to live with someone like that, huh? Debbie Downer? Yeah? Negative Nancy? Don't know what your question is. Maybe why, what's going on. Sounds like depression, at the very least. Very unstable personality, not happy. Somewhat avoidant. Must be hell, living with that. I truly believe if someone cares about you, they'll kind of celebrate with you. And also, you know, sympathize with you when you're down, maybe cry with you. Yeah. But he seems to not be involved with you and the rest of the family very much. Congratulations if your child, was it your daughter, I'm sorry, gets engaged, if she says yes. If you have a question more or something, Rose, please just ask me, okay? Thank you. Rory from sweltering near Toledo, Ohio. Hi, Rory. This past week, sorry, I read that wrong. Hello, David. Sweltering near Toledo, Ohio this past week. My question is about communication. Our therapist always told us we need to communicate more. I said I thought I do, but it fell on deaf ears. He seemed he liked it better when nothing was said. The therapist knew my husband was a narc. I realized this was several years ago, but are therapists still telling people this? Still telling couples this? You can't communicate with someone who doesn't want to hear anything you have to say or share. Thanks, David. Happy Gemini birthday. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's the most important tool we have to make relationships function, successful, comfortable. We have to communicate. It's our job. It's our duty, isn't it? Once that communication stops, you know, the relationship pauses, at the very least, becomes stressful. Right? Silent treatment, not talking to each other and stuff like that. That's no fun to live with people like that. Yes, they still push it. It's the most important thing we have. Here I used an example. But so in politics, the one thing that keeps us the safest of all, we might think they're nuclear weapons or something, or our military, but really what keeps us from war the most is diplomacy, and that's just talking. We've got to talk to each other. Yeah, there's 3 superpowers on this planet, and if we don't talk, it just means more trouble. The more we talk, things are okay, and we need to be talking with the other superpowers. And for some reason, we stopped. And look at all the problems. There's no diplomacy right now on our part. None. We just said, no, we're going to talk to you and we're going to make you evil, and that's it. And we're going to try to fight you in these little proxy wars and stuff. It's just, there's no need for it. There's no need for it. Look at the Cold War. Russia thought we were going to attack them, and we thought Russia was going to attack us. It turned out neither of us wanted to attack each other at all. We could have figured that out if we just talked, but we weren't talking. It's the worst, right? Think about biggest couple's problem is they stop talking. Really, they stop talking. They stop being vulnerable. It's like, you go first. No, you go first. You say you love me first, and you say you're sorry first. Well, just say I'm sorry and I love you, and things get a lot better, don't they? Yeah, talking, number one. Number one. So yes, they do still offer that advice. Now, I understand what you're saying. Talking fell on deaf ears. Well, we have problems. We're going to talk to a therapist, and now we're not going to talk about our problems, so then the relationship's over. That's it. We aren't stuck with people, and we aren't stuck in relationships. And, relationships are always going to have problems, so we need to figure out how to fix those problems. And it starts with talking. Yeah. Thanks, Roy. And the Healing Family from California. Hello. Question. So, as you know, I'm at no contact with my ex-fiance only regarding our children. When he discarded us and ghosted us and just went missing, when I didn't know about personality disorders, I blew up his phone for months with texts and calls for answers. That's when I researched and found you and all my answers to his behaviors. Then I'm the one that went no contact 6 months ago. And when he sends me texts that are not about the children, now I'm the one that doesn't answer. There's a little bit more to it. It doesn't answer. And I've been in no contact. What does the borderline feel or think when people don't answer them after they never answered us? What goes through their mind? Do they realize that we are now doing to them what they did to you? Hope it makes sense. Well, I'm not going to, say I know how other people feel, especially all of them, huh? Or what they're thinking. What does it feel like to you when someone ignores you? Feels pretty bad, doesn't it? Yeah. People with personality disorders, it feels worse. You see, relationships are hard enough already, and for people with these disorders, this kind of mental illness, it's much, much harder. It's much, much harder to look at themselves, take accountability, even be responsible for things. Much harder, much more stressful. These are disorders of the self, of the psyche. And when someone ignores us, it's even worse for them. It is. My guess, that is even much worse for them. Rejection. Your second part, do they realize that we are doing to them what they, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe some do. Maybe some don't. But don't forget, this is a mental illness that severely lacks self-awareness. And what they've done to you is never as bad as what you've done to them. Right? So my second guess would be that he thinks what you're doing is much worse than anything he did. Just a guess. I hope it helps. Thank you. Thanks for what you said in the beginning of your question, too. That was sweet. I just didn't read it. Emily from South Africa. Hello, Emily. Hi, David. Thank you for the video. You're welcome. Thank you. Can you please tell us, or can you please talk about the physical ailments that results from CPTSD? Yeah, CPTSD is like an umbrella term for a bunch of other problems. And it can be depression, and all disorders. It could be depression disorders, it could be anxiety disorders, it could be addiction disorders. And so there's a bunch of other mental illness that follows along with CPTSD, very common. But the physical ailments, here's what it is. So CPTSD is trauma, prolonged trauma. I think it starts all in childhood. And it's not just me. I'm just agreeing with the professionals that believe that this started in childhood. First signs, and this would be neglect and abuse, trauma. So the first signs that children are being neglected and abused, headaches, stomach aches, backaches. And as it continues into adulthood and doesn't stop, these things get worse. So very common migraines in adulthood, and all kinds of digestive problems, from ulcers to colon problems, people getting parts of their colon removed, Autoimmune disease. We now know that all autoimmune disease is caused from childhood neglect or abuse. I've said before, a lot of you guys have these rare, really rare autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's. It's extremely rare, but not the people I see. Not us. Tons, tons. Fibromyalgia, things like this, might be caused from prolonged stress as little children, just from being neglected. It's something hard to identify for you guys too. So all kinds of stomach problems and back problems. And this can, over time, it's the number one cause of disease. CPTSD, it's common, and I experienced this, was disease-like symptoms that doctors couldn't find any problems with. In other words, I felt like I was dying going to doctors saying, I'm dying, I know I am, and I'm not a hypochondriac, I don't even like going to doctors at all, but I was like sick of it, sick of feeling this way. What's wrong with it? What is it? A therapist doesn't know. Doctor doesn't know. Nothing, you're fine, you're healthy. I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm dying. So, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of problems. Stress over prolonged time, the stress chemicals help everything work better, and that over time, if we keep having these stress chemicals for so long, things start working worse. From attention to memory to focus, our energy, right? We have no energy. We have fatigue. Yeah, all kinds of problems this causes. And so, all this stress is going to affect all your organs, from your skin to your eyes, to your liver, to your heart, to your lungs. It's the worst. It's the worst thing for us. Number one cause of death is disease, and the number one source of disease is stress, and the number one source of stress is relationships. There you go. Some of you women in particular who stayed in some of these marriages for so long and got out, you dodged a bullet. You were leading towards that ultimate day of diagnosis. And some people that are in it now, please consider your health. I hope that answered your question, Emily. I think so. Let me know though. Thanks. Victoria from the Bay Area. Hi, Victoria. Went to the cemetery and immediately started to record. When I got home, I played the recording and I could hear his voice calling out my name. Do you believe in life after death? I don't want people to think I'm crazy, so I don't talk about it. Well, I don't think that's crazy. Isn't that kind of what most religions are? Right? Christianity preaches to a dead guy, right? I don't think you're crazy for that. I think that it's actually more common than you may think, Victoria. I've had some of my own experiences, so I think there's something else out there for sure. I don't know what. But I don't think you're crazy. No. Sounds kind of cool. Thanks for sharing that. Emily again. Hi, David. Thank you for the video. Again, you're welcome. Again, thank you. Do narcissists and borderlines usually marry, and what attracts them to each other? I've made videos about this, actually, just to let you know if you want to go, any of you want to go find them. Don't remember what the titles are. But think of it as, why do we have toxic people in our lives, like borderlines and narcissists? Why? Because I've never met anyone that just had one, right? It's usually a toxic parent, usually. So we come from similar places. We've all been neglected to some degree, abused, maybe them more. But that's where we're all coming from, a similar place that we identify with. And borderlines and narcissists absolutely date. They're in the same families, right? Brothers, narcissists, the sisters, borderline. Very common, actually, in toxic families. That's where you're going to find. Whatever statistics you have, like One statistic I heard that was there's sociopaths are 1 out of 20, meaning, if you have an extended family of 20 people or more, you might have a sociopath in your family. Well, it's not really, it doesn't work like that. You're going to find more sociopaths in one family and a bunch of other families that, in other words, you're going to find a family that has maybe 2 sociopaths and 40 families that don't have one. Does that make sense? What attracts them to each other? They're both toxic. Yeah. They both have low self-worth, low self-esteem, low self-respect. They might be relationship addicts. They want to jump right in with each other. If you don't jump right in with them, they don't really want much to do with you. You're too healthy for me. And so they meet and they have poor boundaries and they want stuff from other people and they want it right away. And they both agree to that. We just kind of fall into this a little more with them. I mean, I don't want to say more. Does that make sense? We're not all that different. Yeah. We just kind of react differently or have a little bit different childhood. Makes us a little different. Just a little. Might want to argue that, but we all come from neglect and abuse. And they do too. So of course they're going to date. Of course they're going to marry. Yeah. 2 narcissists marry. That's probably more common than people think too. Yeah. Thank you, Emily. Oh, one more. From Emily. The therapist I'm currently talking to doesn't really react to anything I'm saying. I would like her to express how I felt. Is therapist supposed not to react to be able to help you? So, I think you just worded, I don't think you meant to word it, just this one part that I just want to address, that I would like her to express how I felt. Well, I don't know if you meant that. Maybe you didn't. I think not. Because you express how you feel, right? And the therapist might have a subtle reaction to it, but not much. Don't want to react much. Therapist can be validating to you. Does that make sense? I think a real monotone, no affect therapist wouldn't be very beneficial though either, Emily. So I think someone that is easily excitable and reacts with you. Imagine if she was so happy with you and you're happy and laughing out, crazy with you and then cries with you. You don't want that. I've had that. That's no fun. But some degree of reaction. I'll go, oh, that's no good. Or I'm sorry, I'll react a little bit. I'm just a coach. But no, something in the middle, yeah. We don't want dead affect at all. But at the same time, you don't want her, especially not expressing your emotions with you. No. But a little validating is good. What do you think, Emily? What do you think your therapist is? Somewhere in the middle or kind of extreme? One or the other. And your last question, does talk therapy heal PTSD? Or do you need anything else that would help? Talk therapy could be the only thing that heals. And we're learning this. Our soldiers are guinea pigs to the pharmaceutical companies, aren't they? And they're trying a new drug all the time. Whoa, wow, look at this drug. Woohoo, neat. It's so cool. Isn't it? And they're on tranquilizers. Yeah. Oh, nothing else is working? We'll just put you on some tranquilizers. Wow. Neat. Talk. Talk is the only cure. There is no other cure. Some people will tell you there is no cure at all. But there is, and it's talking. That's the only cure. There are things that supplement it. I have all kinds of things from exercises, activities, supplements, from vitamins, minerals to hormones. Nothing is a cure, and not all of it together is a cure without talk therapy. Talk therapy is the cure, and it really is. It really is. It's the cure. I say that people do this to you. People help you with it. People help you out of it. Okay. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? You guys think that PTSD is curable? Is talk therapy the cure? Are there other cures? I mean, I hear a bunch of other things, from rapid eye movement to different things and hypnotherapy. I don't think those alone can do it. I'm certain they can't. And it can be damaging to think that it can, and just to do something like this and try to move on and can't. It can be even more damaging. I say that if healing on a graph chart looks like this, and this is the healing that we need, this is the help that we need, anything less can be actually damaging. So I'm very careful sometimes with the clients that I accept, if I can help them or not. That's it, guys. Thank you very much for your questions. Please let me know what you think of my answers. And if I missed your questions, I'm very sorry. I never do that on purpose. Please ask me again, okay? Can you? Please. Consider signing the petition, please. Ask questions, leave your locations. But most of all, please love yourself first. Have a beautiful week.